Brandon Aiyuk seemed to indicate that, it was funny. The interviewers were like, you've just been so professional, not taking this to the media, not trying to negotiate through the media. It's like, really? But the Niners leaked their offer, didn't they? And Aiyuk seemed to indicate that he thought that they did, and that he thought that was sort of unprofessional. What do you think?
Well, I mean, I like how it's just assumed, there's two sides to this. Who's got more of an interest in leaking this out? I mean, the Niners have a player who's on a contract. He's due to make 14.2 or whatever. The status quo should be in favor of status quo. Status quo is paying this receiver $14 million and there's no guarantees down the road. So, why to me, it seems like who's got more of an interest in this thing becoming a big public discussion point and circus? It's the Aiyuk side, but we're supposed to believe just because Aiyuk said the Niners leaked it, that it wasn't his guy. It could have been him directly. It could have been anybody privy to the conversations with his agent, but he assumed it was the Niners. Now, I'll just take him at his word and just say, okay, it wasn't him. It wasn't him. It was the Niners. I don't know. I mean, who told Silver, or did Silver just guess and he put it out there as a report? But he actually just guessed because he kind of knew all the numbers and just said, I'll just take a chance on this. I mean, even if you were wrong, if you say the Niners offers $26 million and in reality the Niner offer was $27 million, who cares? No, it's like,
or 25.
Yeah,
he said it was roughly 26 also, if I remember correctly.
Yes. I mean, is he going to lose his credential and can't cover the team because he said 26 million instead of 27? I mean, you and I could have guessed that it was in the neighborhood of 26.
I got a DM today from a guy who says that he's a bartender at some resort, and that Aiyuk's agent, one of his agents from Athletes First, was at the bar having libations, the bartender said. Right. And revealed that the Niners offer was $25 million a year, and Aiyuk wants $27.5 million per year. Now, this is just a random DM from a random person. It could have been a prank, could have been real, could have misheard it. But I read that today. I thought that was interesting. $25 million, and Aiyuk wants 27.5. Interesting.
I think he wants more.
I think
in his mind, he's shooting for north of 30. And that he'll settle for 29. And that's my guess. But the question is this: how is he going to go to the mattresses for it? Is he going to give up half the year? Is he going to give away the preseason, give away camp, give away the first month, 6 weeks, whatever it is? There's a date where he's got to show up and have the year accrue. Is he going to show up on that deadline date and basically flip the Niners the bird and say, hey, it's all about me? Because if that's the plan, then maybe the Niners should play a little bit more hardball with him and send him packing, because you're going to let him kind of manipulate your entire team and dictate terms to you. I don't know. That might be a little much.
Here's why I'm really uncomfortable with the whole Brandon Aiyuk situation and how he's sort of acting compared to every other player on this offense who's got an extension. Compared to Kittle. Kittle's an all-pro. Kittle's at least as good as Brandon Aiyuk. He's just older. And when it was his turn to get the extension, he wanted the money. But did he want attention? Did he want notoriety? No. He got paid. He was happy. And there are games when he has like 2 catches. And he never complains. There was the one Super Bowl and he's like, I would have liked some more opportunities. But otherwise, George Kittle is a good soldier who keeps his mouth shut and is cool with his role in the team. Debo's like that. McCaffrey's like that. Everyone's like that on the team except for Aiyuk. That's kind of scary.
Well, okay.
It's not like his desire for attention isn't going to go away, Larry. Sorry, I just wanted to say that one last thing.
Go ahead. So I missed that. What'd you say?
This desire, like, he's never had the attention before. He has it now. He clearly freaking loves it. Yeah. He's not going to let it go away. This is what he wants.
Yeah. It's like, hey, I've been this good soldier to this point, so I can act any way I want going forward. Mm-hmm. But in fairness to Aiyuk, he also does. He could argue that he's somewhat selfless, Grant, because he did. I mean, I'm thinking of week 1, McCaffrey down the sideline, him and Ray are 35 yards down the field, 40 yards down the field, blocking. I mean, that's going above and beyond compared to some wide receivers around the league. But that's the culture of the 49ers. You heard that's why Belichick said, hey, you don't get on the field as a receiver unless you block. And that's a guy who watches a lot of film. This guy watches what, and if you watch a lot of film, guess what you see? You see a lot of receivers around the league that don't ever block, and then you see the Niners whose culture is for their receivers to block. So he's done the little things, but
goes over the middle.
I mean he does a lot of the little things, and he's not a bitch and complain guy.
No,
I can't remember. I mean, I'm not at all every road game, but I don't remember too many times after games where he's like, "Man, I didn't get the ball." I mean, I remember Frank Gore, and you probably remember this as well, in the Carlos Hyde years, where Frank Gore literally said, he pointing right to his locker mate, Carlos Hyde, he got all the easy carries, and I got all the hard carries.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Frank said that. So, I mean, just
here's the thing.
Aiyuk hasn't done that.
Here's the thing. When Terrell Owens was in his 98, and he makes that catch to beat the Packers in the playoffs. Steve Young throws it, the catch 2. He comes off the field crying. There's a post-game interview, and he says, I just want to thank Steve Young for believing in me. At that moment in Terrell Owens' career, this is a very, very gifted wide receiver who worked hard and did everything right. Did you think that he would go on to be the person, the teammate, the caricature that he became?
Owens?
Did you see that coming at that point in his career?
No. He was... No, he became Owens was, it's funny. His rookie year, I did a weekly KMBR show with him, and we had to fish him out of the locker room and go down there, do it face to face. And he was so nice, so easy to deal with that by the next year, he was starting to be kind of like, hey man, I'm pretty freaking cool. And 2-3 years after that, it was like, dude, he was like, just absolute, I love me some me. You know what I mean? It was like, he was extremes. He was like just trying to please everybody as a rookie to the ultimate, sideshow.
That's a good point. He did go for to extremes. He was so aw shucks. He was almost submissive in the way he acted. Like, thank you so much, Mr. Young, for giving me a chance. And by the end, it was like he was a character. He went from Terrell to T.O. And I wonder if Brandon's going from Brandon to B.A. Like Antonio went from Antonio to A.B. Let's think about it, Brandon. You want to be Brandon. You don't want to be
guy,
B.A.
By the way, he loves Antonio.
He does. You don't want to be B.A., okay? You want to be Brandon. Brandon is grounded. B.A. is not. You're not acting grounded right now, but there's time. You have good parents. There's hope. Xavier says, why keep the guy who during a playoff game jogged emotion and contributed in Purdy getting smashed by Riddick? Should have caught more flack for that. Debo. It's true.
What did he
has
do?
A lot to answer for. That was 2 years ago.
He didn't run his. You talking
that
about
was the Eagle. That was the Eagles game.
Are we talking about the Justin Swift missed block, that play? Or are we just talking about
Justin Swift, Hassan Reddick? Yeah. But I mean, yes. Yeah. That play. Grant, should the Niners treat Brock the same next year?
And watch.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Play. No, you know what? They're not going to though. That's the thing. That's I think the part that's going to rub people wrong, and that's the thing. What's the topic that you and I will be, grinding on, and tons of people will be reacting to? Is this isn't going down this way next year? They're going to take care of him fully. It's going to be a fat number, and we're all going to sit there and
it's
go,
going to be
really,
in March.
Brock Purdy got that, and it's not.
It's going to be in March, not in
way
August.
Early. Yeah, it's going to be well before camp.
The Niners have made it clear they feel Aiyuk is somewhat replaceable. They drafted Ricky Pearsall. They're prepared for things for the worst. They don't have any recourse at quarterback. They know they can't evaluate the position. They freaking traded 3 first-round picks for Trey Lance. They'd be all fired if Brock Purdy didn't exist. I don't think they're going to play that game with Brock.
I agree. I agree.
I don't think they will.
And also, let's be honest. There's an inherent truth to every negotiation, right? And that is, it comes down to economics, supply and demand. There's way more demand for quarterbacks than there are a usable supply. That's not really the case with receivers anymore. And you can see that there are some teams in the NFL that believe that the receiver in 2024 is not that different than the running back, let's say 4 or 5 years ago. And every year that the draft is, 28, 30 deep with quality receivers, and you can find good receivers in rounds 1 through 5, starting caliber receivers. it's hard for these guys to get broken off big dollars because there's so many. There's a proliferation of wide receivers, free agency. There's a bunch. Draft for the last 4 or 5 years, it's always a deeper receiver draft. The year after, every year after is another deep receiving draft. It's because everybody's using the spread. Everybody's using 3, 4, 5 wides, and their wide receivers are everywhere. Why
Barry
pay him?
Baller member for 34 months. Thank you. Okay, let's switch gears. We just gave Brandon Aiyuk 25 minutes on my show, which is what he wanted. You win, Brandon. You win.